everybody, this is Gordon and welcome back to Kitchen Quest. Today we're making tonkatsu, which is a Japanese breaded and fried pork loin, usually served with rice and shredded cabbage and onions, which is exactly how we're going to make it, and we're going to pair it with a ginger cucumber salad. Why don't we get started preparing our ingredients? So we're going to need 1 English cucumber that we're going to peel, half of an onion, a small Savoy cabbage, and a pork loin. One that I'm using is about 1.25 pounds, 1.5 pounds. So we're gonna start with the Savoy cabbage. We're gonna slice that up into really thin strips. Thinner the better. Just go ahead and shred it with a knife. Next, we're gonna slice the onion. We want that as thin as possible too. If you can see through it, great. Just make it nice and thin there. We're going to throw both of those into a bowl and we're just going to toss it and mix it around. Pull all the pieces of onion apart, blend it together. We're going to slice the cucumber. We're going to do that on a mandolin so we can get it nice and thin. It's a little bit harder to get the cucumber this thin with the knife. Just keep going back and forth, just so you can see how thin we're getting it. As close to paper as we can. Finish preparing the cucumbers. So we're going to pick them all up and we're going to squeeze all the water out. I'm going to get them nice and drained. If you want, you can coat them in salt and let them sit for a little while, but I usually don't need to do that. Next, we're going to hit those with a little bit of salt, this time for flavor. Some sugar. Some sushi ginger with a little bit of the liquid in it, and some vinegar. This is just plain white vinegar. Go ahead and toss that all together, and then we'll set it in the fridge and let all the flavors mingle. Now we're going to cut the pork, trim all the fat off. We're going to cut it into thin strips, about 3/4 of an inch. Alternatively, if you want, you can just buy thin pork chops. It's entirely up to you. And once we get the whole pork loin cut up, we're going to put that in a bowl. Hit it with a little bit of salt. And a little bit of fresh cracked pepper. And we'll just give it a toss and let that sit. Next, we're going to make tonkatsu sauce, because it's not always easy to find it in the store. On the left is the sauce that you could normally buy. But we're going to use ketchup, some garlic powder, Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, some sugar, and Dijon mustard. We'll start with the ketchup. Nice big squirt in there. And the sugar. And a couple shakes of garlic powder. A little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some Worcestershire sauce. And soy sauce. A little more for good luck. Apple cider vinegar. And the Dijon mustard. We don't need very much of this. And we're going to go ahead and stir it all around. Keep stirring it until it's nice and smooth. Now this is a really good comparison to the store-bought sauce. Next, we're going to get ready to fry the pork. So on the left, we've got the flour with a little bit of salt and pepper. Then we've got an egg wash, and then we have panko with some parsley into it. So we'll go ahead and dredge the pork into the flour mixture. Put it in the egg, and pick it up with the other hand. We like to do one hand dry, one hand wet. Put it in the breadcrumb. Pick it up with the other hand. And we'll go right in the oil. We'll go ahead and do a second pork chop as well. Now the oil that I'm using is peanut oil. You can use any kind you want. You can use vegetable oil or canola oil. I prefer the taste of peanut. You don't need very much of it, just an inch or two. Just enough to cover the pork. And into the oil. Now, a good rule of thumb to know that the oil is hot enough is just take a chopstick, stick it down and touch the bottom of the pan, and if it starts to bubble, then you're good to go. We'll give it a nice flip here after about 2 or 3 minutes. After another minute or two, we'll see it is nice and golden brown on both sides. So then we are going to take that out and we're going to place that onto a pizza pan covered in a paper towel, just to kind of catch the rest of the oil, and stick that into an oven that's on low just to keep it warm. And once we get done frying all the tonkatsu, we're just going to throw them in for another real quick second fry, about 30 seconds per side. We do this just to kind of crisp up the outside a little bit. So see, it's already cooked on both sides. So just get it into the oil. Throw a couple pieces in there. And after about 30 seconds, we'll just give it a quick flip. And this will make it nice and crispy. We'll go ahead and take these out. And we're going to start plating. So we're going to start with a mound of white rice. I forgot to make this on camera, but it's just plain Korean rice. And we'll mount some of the cabbage and onion next to it. Cover it with a couple pieces of tonkatsu. And we'll put some of the cucumber mixture down on the dish. And then we will drizzle it with our sauce. Now, this sauce goes very, very nicely on the rice as well. A little bit extra to dip in. And there we go. Japanese fried pork tonkatsu. Delicious. And as leftovers, you can just take a piece and heat it up and dip it in the sauce and take a bite out of it. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit subscribe below, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.